do exorcism. In fact, it's the simplest thing to do. In a case of embarking on a new career, venture for removal of blocks that may interfere or create problems spiritually, mentally, and physically. Now, what are the objectives of Ho'oponopono? One is to release and cut all aka cords. Now, all of you have learned what aka cords are, is that invisible thread that touches between you and another person. If I were to use a phone, there is an aka cord between myself and the recipient of the call. So wherever it is, the aka cord is created. So to release and cut all aka cords or ties or connections with imbalancing, inharmonious, negative situations. Number 2, to achieve balance and peace of mind within and without. Also yourself and among others and nature. Number 3 is a healing manifestation spiritually and mentally, then ultimately physically and materially. Number 4, in exorcism, it helps the release of earthbound spirit or spirits from individuals, places, situations. Number 5, reincarnation, the release of individual from unhappy, negative experiences in past lives, removing trauma from the memory bank without creating stress. So the law of cause and effect predominates in all of life and lifetime. So there are also other uses of Ho'oponopono. One is tracing one's roots or ancestral tree. Number 2, in cases of abortions and miscarriages. Number 3, before going to a hospital, convalescent home, etc. Number 4, before going on a journey, a funeral, or services of a dear friend. Number 5, for co-workers, superiors, or anyone whom one may be involved with, an absent treatment can be done. Unhappy or traumatic experiences together in past lives can create many problems in the present day association with above said individual. So this would help to sever the aka cords and create harmonious and peaceful relationship. So the way we do is to select a senior member among us. So the senior member is the one that guides the group. I had an experience in one of my lectures. A young man walked up and he said, he's 14 years old, and walked up, he said, I would like you to help me in a Ho'oponopono that I would like to run. And I said, how old is the oldest in your family? And he said, I think it was in the 80s, so quite an old person. So I said, well, the older person should be the one to run it. No, he wanted to do it himself. So it's quite a challenge for him to come out of the blue and try to do this. So we went there, and the confrontation we had was, as we went on, we found that 2 of these people had a brawl right there. So we had blood all over the place. We cleaned it up. Then we start all over again. And then we started going on, and by the end of that session, which took 6 hours, 2 sister-in-laws were pulling hair on one another. However, when the whole thing was resolved, everyone was hugging one another, and they're living ever happily ever after. It's the idea of resolving at that one moment all of these hang-ups that they have accumulated unto themselves and created, and they were able to release them. So the success that this young man had at that meeting was an eye-opener for me. So I find that even a lot of young children today are using Ho'oponopono as young as 7 years or even before 7. They're able to use the Ho'oponopono and do it and have a result instantaneously. So if they could do it, I'm sure you could. So the thing is to be honest when you are making these confessions one to the other. I've had an organization who has to do with drug abuse, and they are leaders in the whole island chain, and they called me up and said, I gather that you're going to the island of Hawaii and for a seminar, We would like to know if you could conduct the Ho'oponopono for us. We are so fragmented, we would like to kind of get our heads together. So we went over to the national park. There's a certain area there that is set aside for certain groups that would like to go. There's an old house there. We sat out on the grass and we went through the Ho'oponopono. I would ask forgiveness of you, and you would to me, and then you would to the other, and so forth, till the whole group had participated. Then we would take, if you had a hang up with this person, then both of you would get that resolved. So by the time we were through, I think they all got their problems resolved and went back to their respective island. Now we only had one session, and they're doing marvelously well. In fact, they're practicing it in their daily work and relationship with the people that are coming to work with them. And so these are the things that I find that it is really important. Now, in the area of reincarnation, we find that Ho'oponopono is important. It is important for an ailing person or a dying person. Because in the area of reincarnation, we find we're able to go back and pull out some of the memories that might cause this person's problem. Now, I have had that done for many, and it's astounding that a lot of their problems today and a lot of the problems of cases that you have today, and even yourselves, may come from some long incarnation in the past. So it's a thing that I'd like to have you think about. So it also helps through the release, the repentance and forgiveness of past offenses in other incarnations to the present is your release. Getting rid of bad habits such as alcoholism, smoking, and drug abuse or addictions. Meditation is a great help in this work. But one of the most important things is self-introspection, appraising oneself of past and present errors. So, of course, the breathing of your mana to get rid of the poisons, and getting the feeling of blending, balancing your body is important. The extension of love to the offender. We always say we should learn to love our enemies. This is the absolute way of working, is that regardless of how this person has acted towards it, that what you should do is forgive him. So in this process of forgiveness and repentance is a great deal that happens. In other words, you should forgive the offender, whether he be a stranger, a friend, a relative, or an enemy. So feeling the love and divine frequencies and presence within yourself. So the above-mentioned pointers are the building blocks or stepping stones to a progressive and brighter future in the here and now and the many tomorrows to come in our lives, in the physical world, or in the realm hereafter. We find that through eons of time, the basic principles still apply. The balance in all of life's creation must be maintained to create peace, love, and understanding in all planes of creation. We continuously return to physical bodies when we have lessons to learn, to resolve, and to grow. Often we choose our parents or vehicles to bring us back to recommunicate or undo a wrong previously committed. So when we go through all of this, we find that it's a simple process, but it's made so that it sounds a little difficult, but it isn't. I'd like to just give you a little bit about some of the comments in some of my classes, which range from psychiatrists, psychologists,